The theories of Zikang and then Quaking and Sundarans express that CDA is assumed as, where is it, as the study method, as the best method to examine about the ideology in the classroom. However, in order to protect CDA, critical discourse analysis from ideological bias, it is necessary to highlight and expand of the ways in which CDA and SFL are related, as SFL offers a sound technique that aids in protecting CDA from ideological prejudice. So in this case, we can find the gap. We can identify the gap that CDA itself is not enough. What is it uh, to produce unbiased ideology in the classroom? So it must be supported by SFL, systemic functional linguistic, yeah, to produce unbiased ideological in the classroom. Okay, here we go. And now we come to research gap. Research gap pertains to domains that have not been rigorously examined or where there exists a dearth of empirical evidence. So in this case, it has been identified that there are a lot of academic studies emphasize the significance of incorporating ideology into instructional method as a means to advance ideological education within various academic disciplines. And then these numerous academic studies were usually examined through CDA, critical discourse analysis, without integrating SFL in doing the data analysis. So in this case, the research gap comes to there is no study yet about integrating SFL and CDA in examining the ideology. So in this research, it will be explore more about the combinations of SFL and CDA, especially in investigating the ideologies in the classroom. So from the some phenomena, some gaps here. Sorry, my slide is not work. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so from the three gaps that I had presented before about the phenomena gaps and then the research gap and then the theory gaps, I conclude that the research conducted in classroom discourse regarding the ideologies investigated through CDA integrated with SFL remains a prominent subject of interest, as highlighted by measure that debates pertaining to ideology and freedom of speech in higher education institutions are frequently features in prevailing media. Okay, my beloved participants, now we are in the slide of focus of the study. In this case, I focus my research on emerging and prohibitive ideologies within educational setting. And then these ideologies will be focused on the data analysis by employing CDA combined with SFL frameworks. Frameworks from Halliday's frameworks. And the CDA here comes from Faircloug's methodology. Well, in this slide, we can see that there are three basic questions in this research, and I try to provide or to cover all the dimensions of the knowledge here. I mean, for the first question refers to the ontology questions. What is ideologies are prevalently raised and banned by the teacher in the classroom discourse. And then the second question refers to epistemological aspect. How are the ideologies linguistically promoted or dismissed by teacher in the classroom discourse? And the last question refers to axiology aspect of the knowledge. That is why the ideologies are linguistically promoted and prohibited the way they are. All right. So regarding to the three research problems previously I explained, so the objectives of this research will be the first one to explore the ideologies that are prevalently introduced and prohibited by educators in the classroom, and the second one to elucidate the manner in which the ideologies are either linguistically endorsed and restricted by teacher in the classroom. And the last objective of this research is to illuminate the fundamental rationales behind the emergence and prohibitions of the ideologies as they currently stand. Here we go. So this research, of course, is expected to give some contributions, either theoretically or practically. Let's see the first one here from the theoretical perspective. This research or the result of this research is expected to expand the perspective on comprehending the integrations of CDA and SFL approaches, especially within the realm of promoting and prohibiting ideology within the educational environment. And of course, this finding of the study will be expected to serve as a substantial point of reference for future studies pertaining to the theory of CDA and SFL. And the last theoretical perspective from this research, by referring to the advancement of critical pedagogy, insights derived from CDA and SFL play a significant role in shaping critical pedagogy theories, underscoring the importance of education in fostering critical thinking and advocating for social justice. And then if we see from the practical aspect of this study's significance, the findings of this research will have some contributions. The first one in the realm of educational policy and curriculum development. The result derived from CDA and SFL hold the potential to enlighten policymakers and educators regarding the implicit and explicit communication embedded within curricular framework. And also, this finding is expected to give the contribution for the politicians. In this case, the politicians have the opportunity to utilize these observations in order to formulate educational policies that are not only more efficient, but also more just, tackling ideological prejudice and advocating for comprehensive education. And also, this finding of the research, by integrating CDA and SFL, they will provide educators with the necessary resources to cultivate an instructional setting that is characterized by increased involvement, mutual respect, analytical thinking, and introspection. And the last one, in conjunction with the creation of educational contents, authors or the writers have the opportunity to leverage insights from CDN and SFL in order to develop educational materials that exhibit equilibrium, inclusivity, and an absence of ideological prejudice. Okay, my lovely participants. We comes to the second chapter. It is about review of literature. Actually, in this part, I tried to explain a lot of theories that will support this research. Yeah, the first thing is about ideology, especially ideologies in educational context. And then in this section also, I tried to explain how to raise the ideology in the classroom and also how to prohibit the ideology in the classroom. And then this ideology will be examined by using CDA, especially the CDA of fair clubs. And then this CDA will be combined with Halliday's SFL to avoid the, the bias, yeah, the bias of ideology. So in this research, combining CDA and SFL will be where is it? Yeah, the technique of doing the data analysis. Well, to save the time, I come to conceptual framework here. So from this conceptual framework, we can see that I take classroom as a pedagogical setting, and then I try to examine the ideologies from the discourse of the teacher or the lecturer, and then I try to examine this discourse or this instructional discourse by using Fair Club CDA integrated with Halliday's SFL. And then from this data analysis, I try to interpret the ideological construct occur in the classroom. And the last one, I can identify which ideologies are raised, and then which ideologies are prohibited in the classroom. Okay, here we go. Now we come to the last section here, talking about research methodology. So in this point, I have 6 components to be elaborated. The first one is about the research design. Right. Realizing that this research purpose is to unpack the significances and behaviors encountered within a distinct social phenomenon, namely the promotion and prohibitions of ideologies in the classroom, through the subjective experiences of the participants, that is the lecturers or the teacher's discourse. And its methodologies that predominantly yield textual data or words rather than numerical data for analytical purpose. That's why a qualitative research approach will be embraced or will be applied in this research. And then the qualitative research design is employed in this study to uncover and describe the processes through which individuals construct social meaning within their routines and practices, such as the raising and banning of ideologies as facilitated by lectures pedagogical discourse. And next, to gain the profound insight into how ideological dimensions are raised and constrained during pedagogical interactions between educators and learners, the social implication CDA integrated with SFL will be employed. So this basis or this reason will support me to do this research by using qualitative research design. Okay, we continue to this section. It is about research setting. So in doing this research letter, I choose UMSU, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sumatera Utara, as the setting or as the place of doing my research letter. So the next, why must be UMSU? So in this slide, it has provided some reasons, yeah, to choose UMSU as my setting in this research. The first one, UMSU as a higher education establishment represents a microcosm of broader societal and ideological discourses because the university encompasses individuals from varied backgrounds, thereby facilitating the emergence of distinct ideological principles. And also, we know that UMSU, as one of the leading educational institutions, the cultural and the institutional context of the university engenders a distinctive setting where, in particular, ideological principles, particularly those pertinent to Islamic teaching and cultural identity, are likely to be profoundly ingrained within the instructional discourse. And the last one, considering that this study will be carried out within the confines of English as a foreign language classroom environment, it becomes scientifically and methodologically justifiable to select this specific university as the focal point for the research endeavor. Here we go. It is about Okay. Given that this investigation is to clarify the reinforcement and oppositions of ideological construct of principles manifested through the pedagogical discourse of academic instructors, two educators will be designated as the focal subject for this research. And then with regard to the nature of these investigations, with doubts into the nuance of ideological discourse within a particular EFL classroom, the adoption of purposive sampling technique is deemed ideal for selecting the participants. And we know that purpose-based sampling is a sample design that is not designed to provide, it's not designed to provide a representative sample, but instead aims to concentrate on seeking specific phenomena and or processes. So when applied, it should provide an argument for the selection of study participants associated with the objective of the research. Therefore, supplying purpose-based sampling enables the researchers to deliberately select participants who exhibit the particular traits pertinent to the research. The subject will be selected based on their extensive teaching experience to acquire profound insight into the objectives of the research. The first one is the senior academic with more than 15 years of experience. And the second one is the early career educator under the 3 years of professional experience. Here we go. Now we talk about the instrument and technique of collecting the data. We know that within the parameters of qualitative research, the researcher assumes a pivotal role as a key instrument. So in this case, the researcher itself as the key instrument in doing the study. It means that the researcher assumes an indispensable role in collecting data, meticulously examining the discourse of educators throughout their educational practices in the classroom. So some of the procedures in collecting the data are outlined in these steps. The first one is selecting or select two EFL lecturers exhibiting varying degrees of pedagogical experience. As I had taught before, one with an excess of 15 years of experience, and the second one with less than 3 years experience of teaching. And the second one, ensuring that both teachers conduct their institutions under the similar confines of the classroom setting to ascertain the data gain is consistent. And then recording the instructional sessions to accurately capture the dialogue. Make certain that consent is obtained from both the instructions and the learners. The part one is employing a high quality audio recording apparatus to document the entire verbal exchanges. The fifth one is in addition to concentrating on verbal expressions, it is essential to note any pertinent contextual factors that may affect or elucidate the educator's discourse. The next step is to transcribe the audio recording precisely. And the next one, to highlight specific statements where ideological frameworks are brought up or prohibited by adding annotations to the transcripts. And the last one is arranging a coding scheme that aligns with the research objectives, emphasizing categories based on the ideological framework. All right, we continue to the next part here. It is about the data analysis.
Sorry, Yenny, could you speed up with your presentation as we are on analysis?
Yes.
Keep the unnecessary point then.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so in this slide, it shows about the techniques or the step in analyzing the data, start from the adoption of CDA and SFL in doing the data analysis, to find out the textual investigation, and then discursive practice. And also the last one is to find out the social practices, including societal, political, cultural context. So these types of analysis are expected to find out the ideologies or to unpack the ideologies in the classroom setting. And the last one, it is about trustworthiness of the study. So in doing the trustworthiness of the study, there are 4 steps here. The first one is about the credibility, and then transferability, dependability, and the last one is conformability. So by doing this trustworthiness, I as the researcher would like to make sure that everything I find in my research is credible, and then is transferable, and then defendable and conformable. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much. I give it back to Professor Amrin Saragi. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Jenny. Could you please take out your PowerPoint? And we now proceed on to the next stage, where there will be questions from the board of examiner. And personally, I would like to ask the owner of Professor Isa Ginting for the first turn in these sessions then, as Professor Sumarsi is doing some activities outside the campus then. So, Professor Siti Isa Ginting, could you please take your time then?
Okay, thanks for this chance, Prof. Amrin. Yenni?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. Yeah. Your paper is about the ideology, right, in the classroom setting, or not classroom set education. Yeah? Okay. So, as we know that power and ideology is the 2 things that can be separated each other. So, my question is, which one comes first, ideology or power, or what? Can you give the explanation about it, because it can be clear, when you are going to analyze the data.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof, for the interesting questions. So in this case, I tried to answer about power and ideology. You are right in this case that the 2 things are not cannot be separated. So in this case, I'm sure that the first thing is ideology. It means that in everything in our life, in every aspect of our life, ideology is exists. But in this case, once someone has the power, the ideology of someone's can be transferred to others. So by having the power, someone can transfer his own ideology to others and ask others to follow what someone has in his or her ideologies. So the main point here, ideology is come first before power. But in this case, power will have the strength to transfer any ideologies to others. That's all, my Prof.
Okay, as we know that power and ideology is one of the main component should be considered in analyzing the classroom discourse, is what Jefferson and Sachs says about it. Okay, so why do you think that this title is very important to be conducted?
Okay.
Or do you
Yes,
think that do you think that this ideology or this ideology can give the negative impact to the students' achievement?
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much for good question from you, Prof. So in this case, I'm interested in doing this research based on some phenomena that I had explained before about the current phenomena that we realize that the classroom is not only as the arena or the place of imparting the knowledge to the students, but more than it. It means that the ideology can be the arena for the teachers, yeah, who has the authority or who has the power to transfer the ideologies to the students. But in this case, someone's ideology can be positive and negative. So in this case, we are as the teachers or as educators try to to transfer something good of ideology to our students. So in brief, that ideology itself can make someone good or negative or bad based on what ideology we transfer to our students. That's my answer, Prof. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, as you write here, the theories you use to analyze the data or to answer your problem, right? Especially for question number 1. Yeah, that is Fairclough theories and Halliday's theories. My question is, how do you use the combination of the theories, which come first as the theory used to analyze the problem, or I mean that which aspect that theories Fairclough used and which aspect is theories Halliday used to answer the problem.
All right, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for the interesting one question. So I hope by combining CDA and SFL, it will be my novelty of my research, because since I read a lot of references about examining ideology, especially examining ideology in the classroom, those researchers never combine CDA and SFL. They do their research by employing CDA and SFL separately. Some of them use CDA only, and then some of them employs the SFL only. So in this case, I try to combine the two frameworks of Perkop's CDA and Halliday's SFL. In doing the data analysis, actually, I will cover the three dimensions of the Fairclough. The first one is textual analysis, and then the second one is discursive practice, and the last one is societal practice. From Halliday perspective, I will try to combine only the textual function. Why? Why I exclude the two functions of Halliday? That is, the first is additional functions and then interpersonal functions. Because after reading some references, I ensure myself that the two functions of Halliday have been covered by dimension. That is, for the first textual analysis can cover additional functions. But in doing textual
mean that in your study you don't analyze the two functions, I mean the meta function, interpersonal and additional. So you just analyze the textual function, you mean?
Yes, Prof. Because in a Fairclough framework, the two functions of Halliday, that is additional functions and then interpersonal functions, have been covered in the first and in the second dimensions of Fairclough. Actually, in the first dimensions of Fairclough, it is about text analysis. It will be the same thing when we view the first functions of Halliday. It is about additional experience. It also refers to analyze the text, the sentence, like using and then using
I mean that later in your data analysis, you only want to analyze the textual function or the textual function.
yes, the textual function integrated with the three dimensions of paragraph.
Yes, so additional and interpersonal you don't want to analyze it.
Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't directly use the two functions because the functions have been represented by the two dimensions of paragraph. For example, the additional function can be represented by the first dimension of paragraph. It is about text analysis. In paragraph text analysis, also refers to how to analyze a sentence, like the word and the linguistic choice, the usage of the word. So I try to represent the first dimension of paragraph to cover the first functions of a heavy paragraph. And the second function, it is interpersonal function. It has been also captured by the second dimension of paragraph. It's about this discursive practice. So this discursive practice here is also talk about the relations about that participant, who is the speaker and then the listener. It is the same thing with the heavy in the second function is about interpersonal function. That's why I just only take textual functions from this functions because I consider when I didn't find any textual functions applied in so I just take the textual functions. That's my reason.
I'm still I mean, sorry, you do not understand what it. I just ask you later when analyzing that you only analyze the unconsiderable one based on the text function or the first I exemplify in page 10 in my paper study. I provide an example of the data here in page 10. So from this data, I try to simplify the data analysis. So from the definition, I first got the textual functions. I try to analyze this data based on the textual functions reality. I try to find out, for example, here in page 10, the expression is like listen, come on, and tell me. So this utterances, when it is analyzed based on textual analysis, it will try to find out which is the topic, which is the purpose of the statement. So each textual functions, it only focuses on which is the main thing and which is the complement only. So after doing textual analysis based on SFL, I continue to look up three-dimension framework. So in brief, what is something in framework? I try to take from SFL. So it means that although I exclude the two functions of a framework, it does
does not mean that I don't touch at all about it. But I touch it from the paragraph framework, especially from the first dimension and the second dimensions of paragraph studies. That's problem.
I really have Yenni. It is really important in analyzing and data analysis. Yeah, this is really. I just want to answer you about it to make sure you do the three dimension. Yeah, two from the paragraph and one from Olivia. Right?
Yes, Prof. You are right in this case.
Yeah. But in textual function, yeah, you have written that you analyze the data based on data entry, right? Halo.
Pengiriman talent deadline tanggal sekian ya. Ya orang itu prodinya masing-masing ngirimin.
Halo. Yeah. Do you? Okay.
Okay.
Can you listen?
Yes, Prof. It is audible now.
Yeah. In analyzing the data for the stage of textual function, you use the theme and rhyme theory, right? Yeah.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Now, okay. How do you define after analyzing this is the theme and this is the rhyme? And then how do you define the ideology? I can see the indicators that you use to define that this utterance is ideology and this one is not. So how? Or do you have the indicators for this?
Okay, Prof. Yes, after doing some steps of data analysis, start from textual analysis by identifying which is the theme and then which is the ring. In the first step, when we try to identify this is the theme, for example, in my previous data in chapter 1 and page 10 here, let's see the simple example here. When the teachers start the utterance by using listen, come on, tell me, it means that the teacher used the commands. Yeah, the commands. It means that by doing the textual analysis, we know that the use of command like listen, come on, tell me, it is the ring. It is the theme. It means that those utterances are the focus. Are the main thing that the speaker would like to emphasize to the listeners. So, by knowing the theme, we continue with the three dimensions of analysis. That is about text analysis also. So in this case, it is not enough for me in doing this research by identifying the theme and ring only. But I continue with the fair club first dimension here. I try also to identify about the use of the vocabulary, the selections of, I mean the linguistic selections, the choice of the words also. But from SFL, I just check about which is the theme and ring to identify what is the purpose, what is the main point of the speaker that will be delivered to the listeners. So after analyzing the theme and ring, I continue with the text analysis of Fair Club, and then go to the second dimension of Fair Club. It is about discursive practice, and the last one is about social practice. After doing these all steps, yes, Prof.
Yenni, I
Yes,
just
Prof.
I just make sure about it because it is very important later in analyzing the data, right? So we
Yes,
can
Prof.
see it later
Habis handal nih.
when
Yes.
you have seminar
Kamu
hasil.
handal.
And yeah,
Yes,
because
Prof.
I just want to know whether you have understood or not about how to analyze, how to determine, or how to define
Hasnah.
which is
Kenapa nih? Yenni
ideology or the indicator of ideology should be known before
Iya.
analyzing the data, right? Okay, we
Yes.
come to
Pantas dia sih menjonti aja kan.
we
Thank you
come
very
to
much, Prof.
Itu sematikan kan?
Enggak lah.
I beg your
Ada
pardon,
suaramu.
is it from Amrin will pick up, no?
Sorry, Prof. Amrin,
Dia dosen ini
Prof.
juga, dosen
Aisyah.
UMSU juga. Dia
No?
itunya di
Finish.
UMSU katanya apanya.
Okay, I will
Lokasi
continue.
penelitiannya.
So here in your research methodology chapter 1, you talk only about the subject
Anak film apa?
instead of the source of data, right? So in
Yes.
conducting a research, we can use the two term, subject and object, source data and the source of data. Here you use the subject. You mention many things
Apa
about
dia
the
dosen
subject,
kau?
but I can't see about the object. Okay? Yeah. You use the term subject and object,
Jerman.
but I can't find. You
Jadi
use
istrinya ini
but
dosen.
you only describe about the subject, not about the object. So I just want to know, or I just want you to, or suggest you to add about the object of the study.
Nggak ada Bu ya kan? Sama
Yeah.
saya dia sepala lagi kan?
Okay. In
Kamu cerita dari tadi. Berapa
or
nilai?
will you answer it?
Saya tunjukkan langsung.
Or do you agree with my suggestion?
Namanya kok sama suaminya.
Yes, Prof. Actually, I agree with you. Yes, you are right that I miss the research object in this case because I only
Aku
focus on the
banyak
subject.
kerjaan.
Because in this case,
Oh, enggak, memang udah
I
deadlock
guess
rupanya.
that
Deadlock.
the
Udah
object,
memang
the object
buntu
of the
rupanya.
research itself is
Enggak, talent-talentnya
the teacher
bagus-bagus.
itself.
Talentnya bagus-bagus.
No.
I mean the
Not the teacher himself. The teacher is the subject,
judulnya
as
juga tahu.
we know the source of data. But your object, your data is not the teacher.
I mean the utterances of the teacher that include ideologies. That is the object. So I mean in this case, Prof, from the subject, the teachers, we also find the object inside the teacher. That is the utterances of the teachers itself, Prof.
So yes, you are right, but you don't write here. You
Okay,
don't
Prof.
write.
I will write it later, Prof.
Of
Okay.
course,
Kayak
the
apa aja
utterances used by the teacher, the utterances which found the ideology that produced or used by the teacher. Okay. The next in chapter 3, I mean, you write, or your reason to use the subject of the research based some criteria,
Pengalamanku kayak
like
gini juga
teaching
ada.
experience.
Ketika kita terlalu dominan mengintervensi
Do you
kreativitas
or
mereka,
are you sure
itu hasilnya malah nggak terlalu apa. Kayak
the
kemarin itu kan aku nggak mau
more
terambil
experience
kayak
make
yang
more
dramanya
professional
si ini,
of
yang di
the teacher?
Glenorchy
Cuman
itu.
kan mereka panjang waktunya.
Right, Prof. Very interesting question, Prof, to discuss. Yes. What is in my mind that the period of someone's in teaching actually is not the parameter or the indicator of someone's
Ceritanya
professionalism.
kok nggak terlalu menarik.
So in this case, I
Terlalu
choose the two subjects here with the different period of teaching. It does not mean to compare, Prof, to compare that the senior one is the best and then the junior
Enggak, itu
one
kemarin yang di
is not
kelas
the good
dia kan
one now. I
melibatkan
just
semua
take
ini,
these two
melibatkan
subjects
semua
to complete, to complete my research
Jadi
data, what
semuanya ada
what
peran
is
di situ.
needed in my research,
Makanya nggak kurang cocok juga kalau
I
untuk yang
take
cuma
from these
5
two
orang seperti
subjects,
ini kan.
taking from the senior one
Orang
and
lain
then
satu
the
kelas lah,
junior
20
one.
orang itu ada perannya
Once
semua.
again, I would like to stress that I will not compare, but I try to to write my data or to complete the data. So the data will be comprehensive one, Prof. It is not only focused on the senior one, or it is not only goes
Aku
to
ngelihat
the
dua orang
junior
itu kan
one.
memang
So once
seharusnya
again
hasilnya bisa
here,
ini loh.
the
Kayak Arbana
teaching
kan
period
kayak
of
dia
someone
bikin
is not
short
one of
movie itu sama orang apa kan
indicator
ada.
of the professionalism of
Enggak, ini
someone.
terlalu kaku
That's
sih
my
kalau
answer.
lihat.
Karena ini tahu saya buat.
Okay, so it is not guarantee, right?
Tolong kali
Yes,
sama
Prof.
apa-apa.
Okay, here you also mentioned about the integration and the
Tolong kali lupa.
management of ideology framework
Nggak ada yang tampil. Itulah karya 10 menit.
in conversation during
Punya aku yang juara.
pedagogical engagement in your campus. My question is, do you mean that every lecture must follow the management of ideological framework in your campus? In UNSU, I mean.
Itu kok
Yes, Prof.
si Terry semalam.
I experienced by
Efek.
myself that in our campus is Muhammadiyah based. In doing the lecturing, every lecture must start the lesson by praying, Prof. So there has been a framework in the campus, and I guess it is one of our university's ideologies to present Islamic values in every activities in our campus, including the teaching process. That's
Okay, it is my information good for me. Maybe after retire from Unimed, I will make some application to the UMSU. Okay, next is, my question is, how do you get the data from different lecture? As what you mentioned the curriculum before, you get the data from the same subject matter or what? Different senior and junior. And how about the subject matter?
All right, Prof. So I take these two subjects with the same level of the students to teach. Actually, these two students teach in the fourth grade, in the fourth semester students, but they have the different subject to teach. But they have the same class. For example, here, class.
Class parallel?
Sorry, Prof.
No class parallel. No class parallel.
Yes, there is a parallel class, but I try to focus on one class in which the two lecturers will have the same student, but they have the different subject. In this case, that they teach the same level of the students, teach the same class with the different subject.
No teacher's team for one subject,
No problem.
No team teaching, right?
Okay, actually, I do this one to also to see is the same class with the different lectures will display the same or the different ideologies in the same class. That's why I try to.
Yeah, what I ask you is to the next question. That is about how do you avoid the bias. So this is one of the things that can be make the data bias.
That's right. All right. As I had explained in my first introductions, okay, the combinations of CDA and SFL will avoid the bias ideology. It means that by doing the 3 dimensions or per club and then supported by SFL, the ideology identified will not be biased. As said by
How do you say so?
okay, it has been supported by any theories here from let me check from yes, from Gregory in chapter 12 or until 13. Gregory says that in order to protect CDA from ideological bias, it is necessary to highlight and expand on the ways in which CDA and SFL are related, as SFL offers a sound technique that aids in protecting CDA from ideological prejudice. And also from Martin says that one of SFL's advantages for CDA is that it allows for the explicit, transparent, and exact examinations of text by grounding concern about power and ideology in depth analysis of the text in authentic language use context. It means that by combining per club 3 dimensions and then Halliday's SFL, it will produce unbiased ideology in the classroom. That's my way to avoid the bias.
Okay, Annie, I do hope so. Yeah, yeah. I know that I have read in your your proposal about it. Yeah, so I just want to know whether you know what you have written on.
Yes, thank
okay.
you.
The last one, the last thing. Yeah. Suppose that after analyzing the data, you find the data is not enough to support your research question. Okay. So how do you approve this? How do you improve this? How do you add your data in order to answer your question? Yeah, because the data what you have got is not enough.
All right, Prof. Okay. Yes, Prof. It is something that we, I myself as the researcher, appear to occur. That's why to avoid this thing, the insufficient data of my research, I try to take the 2 subjects, yeah, in my research. It is from the senior one and then from the junior one. It intends to provide the comprehensive data. But however, if the data is still insufficient, that's the one of the characteristic of the qualitative research. The researcher is the key instrument of the research. So in this case, the researcher will know what must be done for the next step to provide the comprehensive data. But I'm sure that by taking these 2 subjects from the senior and then from the junior one, I hope I will have the comprehensive data for my research project. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay, everything is good. Yeah.
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah. Know that you have understood what you have written in your dissertation proposal. Okay, that's enough. Thank you, Professor Amrin.
Thank you very much, Prof.
You're welcome. You're welcome indeed, Professor Isa Ginting. Now we proceed on next reviewers. Dr. Winda Setiasari, could you please take your time then?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, definitely.
It is clear.
So thank you for the chance. Very good morning. Yenny?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice
Good morning.
early morning. Yeah. So, okay. Let me start. So, let me then congratulate you. Yeah. So you've just arrived at this point, and it's not it's a big job, I think, and it's not a small thing for you to do, right? So you've started it, and you dig it, and you explore it. Yeah. Okay. So still, I have a question, right, Yenny? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ideologist. So this is quite interesting. You define the ideology. So I've been trying to find and to read over your chapter 1. Yeah, chapter 1, and you offer us quite many concept of ideology. Yeah, so it's a value. And you mentioned about the word instructions. Yeah. So in your thesis, what ideologies you trying to say? Yeah. Sampai di at least when I and reading your chapter 1, and I don't get it. So what's the exact concept of ideologies that you tend to that you plan to research? Can you answer it?
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much for your nice
Mhm.
questions.
Mhm.
Yes, talking about ideology, there are many, there are many ideas or theories talking about ideologies,
Mhm.
and I have provided some, some ideas.
Yes.
Talking about ideology can be found in chapter 1 or chapter 2. But in
Mhm.
this case, in my mind, I still remember. Sorry, Prof. Amrin, I quote your expressions here.
Mhm.
And I very agree with Professor Amrin here is ideology is something must be idealized.
Mhm.
So in this case, something can refers to the value, can refers to the belief, can
Mhm.
refers to the ethics, everything. So in
Mhm.
this case, everything must be idealized,
Mhm.
and we as the owner of the ideology tries to transfer
Mhm.
our ideology to others in order the others follow our ideology. That's
Mhm.
the point that I keep in my mind, ma'am.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so do you put a concept in your chapter 1? So you depart from divining old quite many concept. Yeah, but I just as a reader I need a certainty, or what was so called a robust definition on ideology that you are going to research. Yeah, so I don't find it. I mean, my suggestion is just through your statement of objective in you at the end of the chapter 1, you tell us. Yeah, you tell us. Yeah, so so that's if you do that, and I can sense right away the gap of your research. It deals with the gap of the research that you are going to create, a novelty, and so a good dissertation as the thesis or dissertation that we can find right away in the very first chapter, the gap of research. So that's Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So that's only the suggestion. Okay. The second one is Yan. This is quite interesting. You do mention about student identity. Yeah. Do you?
Yes.
Yes. Do you? Will you? No. Do you? Will you get engaged with the student's identity here as the one of the variable of your research?
Uh, Sorry, ma'am. Can I repeat your question?
Yeah.
Do I include a student identity as the variable of my
Yeah.
research?
Yeah.
That's your
Will you
question?
engage? Yeah. Will you
Oh,
engage
okay.
student identity as the variable of your research?
Okay. Yes, yes, ma'am. So to answer your questions, uh, based on my research background here, I focus on the ideology transferred by the teachers in the classroom. So in this case, actually, I just concern on the teacher itself. Yeah, how they deliver the ideologies to the students with the various backgrounds, with the various identities, and then with various just say economic background and so on. But in this case, I just focus on the teacher itself, the utterances expressed by the teachers, not by the students,
Okay,
ma'am.
so it's a teacher's identity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I did.
But sorry, ma'am. But in this case, what is it? In my mind, I try to understand that the students' identities actually can affect the teacher's way in delivering his or her ideology to the students. Just maybe give a simple example here. When I teach, for example, when I teach a classroom, just say for the Muslim for the Muslim students, in this case, I will not be reluctant to tell about just say Islamic values. But when I have the different religious background of the students that shows their identity, of course, I will consider to talk about any ideologies regarding to Islamic values. That's the simple example, I think, ma'am. So, in brief, that the student's identity or the student's background must be considered by the teacher or the educators in delivering any ideology in the classroom.
Okay, so
That's
but if it is so, why don't you to put the some theories on the teacher's identity, triggering from student identity in your chapter 2? I don't see it, Yenny.
Oh, you mean that I must have the specific topic talking about
Because
a teacher's
the
identity?
ideologies is conceptualized by the part of it is by the identity of the teachers, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. You are right. You are very correct in this case. But I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes, I don't specifically provide any topic about identity here.
Okay.
But I try to focus. What is it? On power roles. So in this case, I would like to see. Where is it? The language used by the teachers and the power they have, and then what are the ideologies will be sent to the students. Actually, you are correct. Identity of the teachers, identity of the students are influential in delivering the ideology.
Yeah.
But in this case, I just focus on the power, ma'am, because I think it's very hard to do to capture all things that affect the ideology. So in this case, I just focus on to unpack the ideologies regarding or relating to the power role of the teacher. So in this case, talking about the authority of the teacher itself. I don't focus on the teacher's identity or the student's identity. But actually, where is it? In any topic, let me see. In any topic, I just touch about students' identity at glance. Like in chapter 1, I just touch about it when talking about the importance of ideology. That by delivering any ideology, any good ideology, it will strengthen the students' identity. But I don't focus on that topic, ma'am. I just focus on ideology and the power that the teachers have.
Okay. So
That's my
since
answer.
my understanding is identity is closely related to what will you find as the the goal of your research, which is ideology. But that's okay. I can understand that. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. In addition that, talking about ideology according to Fairclough framework, uh, it is connected to the language and then power and ideology. Since I refers to FAIR Club framework in this case, yeah, I just focus on language, power, and ideology, ma'am.
Okay.
That's my reason.
Okay, I can understand that. But
Yes.
since you answer, the scope of since you clarify the scope of your research is, so you mean it's the power relations, between teachers and students.
Yes,
What you mean by
yes,
power?
yes, ma'am. So in chapter 2, I provide a topic about power role in critical discourse analysis. It talk about power's influence on language in CDA, and then power dynamics influence on language choice in discourse, and then power dynamics in influence on students teacher interactions. It means that yes, ma'am.
Keep going.
Okay, so
Keep going,
it
yeah.
means that the power is very crucial. Yeah, very crucial in talking the ideology. When someone has just say more power, yeah, maybe she or he will get the freedom to say anything about his or her ideologies. But when someone has lower power than the what is it the listeners, yeah, maybe she or he will be reluctant to tell something about his or her ideologies. So in brief, that power is very crucial in talking about ideology, especially in classroom discourse.
Okay, so what about hegemony?
Yes,
Will you discuss
hegemonic also.
that?
Yes, ma'am. Hegemonic also is very related to ideology. Once again, ma'am, what I say before, to avoid the broader analysis of my research, I
Okay.
try to limit, ma'am, because in this case, I just try to, what is it, to do that. I guess it will be something new by combining CDA and SFL. And I think that by combining these two frameworks is very hard to do for me, but I try to do my best later.
Okay,
That's
so
my
your
answer.
frameworks are CTA and SFLA. I'm thinking about, exploring power, hegemony, in the context of students' identity as well. But, okay, so you've decided upon these two focus, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. You keep mentioning the Prof. Amin, so I just say Amin, yeah? Okay. Yenny,
Yes, ma'am.
two lectures. Yeah, so you select two lectures as the participant of your research. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yenny, you mute. Please unmute. Kok ketekan berarti.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes, you
Yeah.
are correct, ma'am. There will be two subjects or participants in this research.
Okay, give me your justification. I cannot find or I can't read the justification for choosing two lectures.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Let me to to find out in my proposal. Actually, talking about this question, it will be on page 125 about the research subject.
125.
Yes. Yeah. There will be two subjects here. Actually, in page 126, there are some reasons why I choose these two subjects. They are the senior and then the earlier career educator. The first one, for the senior academic with more than 15 years of experience, is presumably to have cultivated a stable and potential conventional teaching approach. Years of experience have molded this pedagogical framework, facilitating a true proof into how traditional teaching practices affect the treatment of ideologies in the classroom.
Mm.
And for the second subject, it is it is the early career educator. On the flip side, how owns under 3 years of professional experience may introduce more innovative or experimental methodologies to his pedagogical practices, demonstrating a heightened receptivity to current educational paradigm and training. This disparity enables the inquiry to look into the influence of varying level of experience, the integrations and management of ideological frameworks in the conversation during pedagogical engagement. And then additionally, these two subject of the research, I hope these two subjects will provide the comprehensive data of my research. It is not only from the senior one, but also from the junior one with the different period of teaching experience, ma'am. Thank you.
What I mean is the numbers, not the. I mean, you qualify. You classify your participants as a junior and seniors. But my question is, in terms of number, what's your qualification? And what's your certification? Yeah, number. Okay. I'm saying about number here. I'm quite troubled with the
Sorry, ma'am, to misunderstand your question.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Yes, so in this case, you talk about the number of the participants. Yes, you are correct that I just take 2 participants here. It means that since my research technique of sampling is purposive sampling. As I explained before, that it is not it is not indented. It is not intended to to limit the number of the participants, but it is to consider the comprehensive ways to get the comprehensive data. So it is not dependent on the number of the participants. If we as the researchers consider that these 2 participants can create the comprehensive data, it will be enough. It will be sufficient. So purposive sampling is not limited to the number of the participants.
Okay, so I need you to add in the for chapter 3 methodology. Yeah, so you
pardon me, ma'am.
I need you to add your justifications on the on the matter of number that you decide upon, right? That's my suggestion. Another suggestion, Bu Yenni. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I will add later.
So what? My next question is your chosen subject. I mean, the lectures that teach quite many subjects, right? Or 3 or 4 subjects, perhaps in one semester. Okay, in what kind of subject these researched will be undergoing?
Okay. The lecture.
And next, Yenni, don't you think that the choosing of the subject or class will influence, your research?
All right, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What you have asked to me is correct. That yes, in any case, that the different class and then the different subject will affect the lecturers in delivering any ideology. But for this case, for my 2 subjects, they come from the same class. It is in the 1st semester students, but they teach the different subject in this case. For the senior lecturer, teach about structure subject, and then for the junior one, he teaches about there is any subject talking about debate, just tell about speaking debate. So they have the different subject, but they teach in the same class, in the same grade of the students. The
Okay, so on
difference is
choosing
only about the subject.
on choosing the subject, do you write your justification on it? I don't think I was reading it.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Actually, in writing subject of the research, I try to provide some justifications why I choose the two. It is based on the purposive sampling that I had explained before, that in purposive sampling, the subject of the research is not limited on the number, but it refers to the comprehensive the data will be got from the subjects. And then about the justifications of choosing these two subject, we can find in page 126 in the second paragraph, that the rest of what I had read previously, Prof. Yeah, I provide the justification why I choose these two subject in in page 100, 126 until 127, ma'am.
So
That's my answer.
you are confident enough, that speaking, it is speaking subject, right?
Debate. Yeah, it refers
Debate.
to speaking, because in debate subject, it encourages the student to speak up.
Okay. So you are confident enough to choose from the subject.
Yes, ma'am. Because I consider the teaching experience period, and then about the subject. I guess that in this subject, the lecturers will tell any ideologies to the students.
In this matter, I don't. You know. I doubt about your argument, and
Pardon me, ma'am.
I
Pardon me,
doubt
ma'am.
I doubt your argument, Yenny. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So I was reading it, and I don't have any, the mental pictures. I mean, your description was not satisfying me, because the descriptions of debate here, how the debate class will fulfill the data, or how as to how students' activity in this class will reflect the power, because this is, debate is giving the freedom for students to talk. While you're talking, another one important element is, you are showing then how power influence the ideology. Okay, so I doubt about the uni. Yeah. So I'm reading it. I can understand that, but this it is intriguing, and I keep wondering. Okay, so debate, and then you can provide one side of the data, but not the power. The ideology of a power that you're going to seek. Yeah, sold into the research.
Pardon me, ma'am. Can I respond your
Yeah,
your darkness?
yeah.
All right, ma'am. Yes, what you get it can be, but in this case, I'm sure that although the subject is about a debate or any material to encourage the student to speak up, but in this case, I just focus on the lecturers or the teachers' utterances when explaining about about the theory of a debate or the speaking. It will not capture the students' utterances. I just focus on the lecturer's utterances when he or she is explaining the theoretical concept of debate or speaking. What do you think, ma'am?
Debate is a student center, right, Yenny? not a teacher-centered activity.
Sorry, ma'am, but in this case, I can find that there is any time for the lecturer or the teacher to what is it to explain more than the teachers. But in any sections, yeah, in the next meeting, yeah, of course, the students will be the center of the learning. But in any time, okay, just say yeah, in the first meeting, yeah, the lecturer will tell the students everything about just they say about the lecture contract to the students. So in this case, the teachers is still the center of the learning, ma'am.
Okay. Just make sure that you have data for
Yes,
you know, for
yes,
different
ma'am.
kinds of variables in your research later on. I think
Okay, ma'am.
I'm done. Yeah, with all the questions. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you,
Thank you very
Yenny.
much, ma'am.
Keep
Thank you very
going,
much,
Yenny.
ma'am.
Keep
Yes,
going.
indeed, you're welcome, Dr. Windasai. Yes. Well, next turn is to Professor Sumarsi. Are you in a good position to examine our candidate, Professor Sumarsi? Professor Sumarsi, it's a good to contact him. He's outside Unime, but anyway, at this moment I just want to contact him. There we
Yes,
go.
Prof.
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Ya, Prof. Ya, Prof. Udah. Halo?
Yeah, okay.
Halo?
Ya, silakan.
Ya.
Yes, Prof.
Ya. Ya. Ya, oke, Prof. Thank you to Profesor Amrin Saragi, MA, PhD. Ya, Ibu Yenny, can you listen my voice?
Yes,
Hello?
Prof. It is clear, Prof.
Okay. Yeah, I just give you suggestion because I have only 10 minutes. 10 minutes, yeah. Okay. The first one, I suggest to you to have the preliminary data. I think you have done it in the phenomena gap, yeah. And then theory gap, you must tell about the theory that you use for your research, and then what theory that the researcher have done it. So you compare with your theory. Yeah. And the third one, research gap. Research gap, you must explain what kind of research that you want to do.
Sorry, Prof.
Yeah.
I cannot. Yes.
And then ini dua nih. Dua. Ya, tepat.
It's echoing, Prof.
Research gap. Tell what kind of research that you have done, but and then you compare with the another researcher, about their research. Yeah? What kind of your research that you will do and compare with researcher that have done it, the kind of research. You understand?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah.
I get your
Okay,
point.
and then the second one, revise your conceptual framework by explaining the theory that you use to answer the first problem. Yeah. And then the second problem, you must tell what kind of analysis they want to do.
I'm
Then,
sorry, Prof.
who
I
is the
cannot listen
expert
to
that
your
you
voice,
use
Prof.
to analyze your second problem? Yeah. For the third problem, because you want to ask about why, it means that you need the reason. Yeah, the reason you about the ideology in the classroom. Yeah. So you give the instrument, maybe the instrument like interview to the teachers. Yeah. How many teachers that you want to analyze? How
Two,
many
Prof.
teachers, students?
Two lecturers.
Two lecturers. Okay. So you prepare for the interview to ask the reason why they use ideology in that classroom. Yeah? After you elaborate all of the theory, all of the experts, all of the instrument to get the reason, you give to conclude conceptual framework becomes a figure of conceptual framework based on the three problems, based on the theory that you use to answer the first problem, the second problem, and the third problem. So there is a thread, yeah, benang merah between the introduction and then literature review, literature and conceptual framework. There is a thread, benang merah, about three problems. Yeah, of course, we move to the methodology. In the methodology, you must think about, you must tell about the subject, yeah, like two teachers, and then how many students, and what kind of instrument to be used in the problem. Yeah, what kind of instrument?
Oh,
For
iya.
instance, for the first
Jangan
problem,
pergi hari Minggu. Nyusul aja.
what
Babar Sari.
instrument do you use?
Aku pergi hari Minggu. Mana? Ya kita
Low
kan udah
battery.
booking. Oh, yang ke sana.
Yes, Prof.
Ke Lagu Piring.
I change the.
Iya. Babar Sari yang di itu.
Yeah. Okay.
Sebelum apa?
Um,
Gua jangan ini angkut yang
we move to the instrument.
angkut 103.
Of course, for answering the first
Sampai
problem,
ke oh.
what kind of instrument do you use? Ibu.
Anak ini minta diajak kan? Wajak lah.
Anak ini siapa
anak ini?
Questionnaire? Yeah,
Apa?
questionnaire.
PKKM di kemarin.
No, Prof. Can I respond to your question, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prof, for your questions.
Ini
But
pulang nggak gadis
pardon me,
boleh?
actually,
Pulang
I
nggak jadi
cannot
nggak gadis?
clearly listen to your voice, but I try to capture your question here. Yes, the last question is about the first research problem, instrument. Since this research is qualitative research, the researcher is the key instrument of the research. It means that in this research, there is no questionnaire, and there will not be interview. But in this case, I try to to document every atoms of the lectures. I mean, from the two lectures that will be the subject of this research. So in brief, there is no. There will not be questionnaire or interview. Why I say so that
So there is no interview, questionnaire. So to answer the third problem, what kind of test you use?
Sebelum Pamapio itu dia?
Yes, Prof.
Bukan lah. Oh, yang ini lah kita ke ini kemarin.
Or in the usual actions to answer why
piringin.
question
Iya.
it must be interview. But in this case, I will not do interview. Why? Because in answering
Langkah-langkah juga.
why question here, it
Harus
is
dibuat
not
jadi camping
always
ya.
as I had I had understood about
Kampung halaman.
any references, yeah, Prof.
Kamu
Why
istri juga?
question is not always supported by an interview, but to answer the why question could be supported from any theories of the expert.
Oh, yeah.
Just take
Yeah, you must give the theory that you use to answer the problem. Yeah. You must explain in the conceptual framework. Elaborate all the theories that you use to answer numbers problem, to answer the second problem, and the third.
yes, Prof.
In order, your proposal will be better.
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's enough from me. You must
Thank you.
advise as soon as possible in order you can move with another seminar.
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
Congratulations. Not you. Good luck for you, Jenny. Thank
Thank you very much, Prof.
you, Professor Amin MPhD. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. Professor Smarty, for all the questions. Well, maybe waiting.